Hey, to Live with Lynn. I'm Lynn Huber, and I'm glad you're out here with me today. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. So today I'm just going to talk about why I originally joined Avon. I've told this story before, actually many times, but if you haven't followed me for a long time, you might not know. And you know, maybe every time I tell the story, it's a little bit different anyway. I mean, at least the way I tell it, right? So it was back in 2001. The year was 2001. I had a great job. I was director of marketing for a food service distributor, and Richard was a store manager at Vons. We weren't looking for anything, but the internet had just come out, it had probably come out a little bit before that, but it was getting more mainstream, more public. And I'm a geek. I love doing stuff like tech stuff. And we were square dancing. It was our hobby. And I decided I was going to create a square dance website. And because the biggest struggle I had in California was I never knew, I had a hard time keeping track of when the dances were and who the caller was going to be and all of that. So I thought, well, I'll create a square dance website with a calendar, and all of the clubs could put their events on my calendar, and then everybody would be able to just have one place to go to find out where the events were, the dances were this weekend. But the thing is calendar technology, that's database technology. Back then, I mean, nowadays you can get that for like $15 a month. Back then it was like $150 a month because it was new technology, right? And I was looking for a way to help pay for it, kind of help pay for my hobby. And I looked at different companies. I didn't understand network marketing. I just knew Tupperware and Mary Kay and Avon and stuff like that. And so I looked at all the companies. Avon was promoting at the time that you could be an e-representative. You could sell online and have your own website. So I thought, perfect. I'll just sell Avon to my square dance list, and that will help me pay for my square dance website, because I didn't want to have to like charge admission, memberships, stuff like that. Have to have passwords to get in. I didn't want to do any of that. So I thought, well, if this will help support the website, then that'll take care of it. That was all I was ever going to do. But it didn't quite, nothing ever happens the way we think, right? It's never as easy as we think. Avon really wasn't. They might have thought they were coming into the 21st century. They might have thought they were online and offering this e-representative thing, but they really weren't. They had all kinds of problems with the website. The biggest problem for me was that they made my URL my given name, my name when I was born, a name that I had never used and that I wasn't going to give out to square dancers because they wouldn't know who I was, and it wasn't me. And I couldn't get Avon to change it. I'm one of those people, though, that I don't give up. So I just kept going up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, all the way to the top of the company and sent an email to the CEO of the company, and boom, it was changed the next day. But that took some time. And in the meantime, we thought, well, let's just take books to square dancers, to the square dances. We'll take our Avon brochures to the square dances. And it did sort of take care of what our goal was. It helped pay for the website. And then Richard started saying, well, I wonder what would happen if we put out brochures. And so on his one day off, he would put brochures around the neighborhood and see what happened. And we did pick up some orders. And, things were kind of moving along. It still wasn't on my radar, really. I was just playing with it. And about a year in, Avon had a Home for the Holidays event down in LA. And so we thought it would be fun to go see the holiday products, really, is the reason we went. And so Richard and I went down to LA to this event and got to see all the holiday products, and that was really cool. And but during the general session, they had people stand up at the different levels of leadership. So they said, everybody who's a unit leader, stand up, and everybody who's a advanced unit leader, stand up, and they recognized them, right? And everybody that was like all the way up, executive unit leader, senior executive unit leader, they raised them, they acknowledged them all, and they recognized them, and gave them, everybody applauded. So there was a girl named Jenny who was in my district. We had districts back then and district managers, it was like an area. And she stood up for the advanced unit leader, which is just the second level of leadership. It's not very high up. It's like you got leader, you had unit leader and then advanced unit leader. And she was an advanced unit leader. And she stood up and she was being recognized. And the truth is, I never really thought of her as that smart. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative, but I just never really thought of her as that smart. But she was in a leadership role. And I was sitting next to the district manager, and I just kind of leaned over and I said, do you have any idea how much she makes a campaign? And the district manager says, oh, about 300 a campaign. And it's the funniest thing. It's not like that's a big number or anything. because I was making way more than that in my day job. But it was the funniest thing. As soon as she said that, my brain clicked, and I said, man, I could blow that out of the water. and that was it. That was where it went. And like all of a sudden this thing was born, right? On the way driving home from the home for the holidays, Richard and I were talking, and he said he had the same reaction. He thought we could blow that out of the water. So as we're driving home, we're talking about it. We thought, let's just see what would happen. You know, yeah, we have great jobs, but we both had jobs that were very, very stressful. They were jobs that, you know, where we felt like, we used to laugh about this all the time, felt like we got to work, we fell into a blender, and they whirled us around in this blender all day long. And then about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, we fell out of the blender and went, oh, it's time to go home. I mean, it was just like so hectic and so much pressure in our jobs. And we couldn't take time off when we wanted. You know, we had somebody else couldn't have vacation at the same time you did. And, you know, all of that, right? And we were working, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week. Richard was even pushing that. And I was commuting an hour and a half each way from Ventura to Goleta. And so we decided, okay, let's get serious. Let's see what would really happen. And so we started putting more books out. I went to the Kmart, and I went in and asked the store manager if it would be okay if we set up a table there on Sunday afternoons, just for a couple hours, just to give out information about working from home. And he said, sure, as long as you don't sell anything. And so I was like, perfect. So we set up a table every Sunday, just for about 3 hours every Sunday afternoon. Rain or shine, we were there every Sunday. As long as that guy was going to let us be there, we were going to take advantage of it. And we had such little time to work our business. So that was a way that we could touch more people in less amount of time. And so people would come by, we were going into Kmart, and I would say, hey, we mail our brochures. Would you like to get on our mailing list? Or I think at the time, though, I was saying we had a drawing. We had a product bundle out there, and we're having a drawing. Would you like to sign up for our drawing? And I'd use those drawing slips. We had drawing slips where you could say, I would like to receive a brochure. I already have a representative. I'm interested in selling Avon. You know, we get their information, and then we would get brochures out to them. We weren't mailing them at that time. So it was the drawing I was doing. And that's how we built our business, you know, and we did, Richard did door to door. We dropped books off door to door, and we had a system where we would go to a house 6 times, six campaigns in a row, and then move to the next one. We didn't knock on doors because, you know, we just didn't have the time to do that. We were both, like I said, working many, many, many hours. But hey, 2 years after we decided to get serious, I was able to quit my job. I mean, can you believe that? I had this high-powered job, and it was the hardest thing I ever did, was leaving that job, because I was terrified of what would happen if, you know, now it was on me. If I don't have a salary anymore. But I did. I left my job, and then I was so afraid of not being successful, or not continuing to replace my income, that I actually developed a route. I started going to businesses, and I set a schedule for myself. So every day of the week I would do a different set of businesses, and I would go and I would develop a route. And that got me going. Actually, it was pretty smart, because it got me steady going and building my business. But so then 2 years later, we were able to get Richard out of his job. So we both retired, quote, retired really early. We were doing Avon full-time. Here's the kicker, though. Avon has changed my life dramatically. You can't even believe how much it's changed my life. I wake up in the morning when I'm done sleeping. I don't set an alarm unless I have to be somewhere. If I want to take a vacation, or we want to go somewhere, we just draw a line through our calendar. It's our schedule. It's our calendar. We get to decide what we're doing with it. And I just love it. I just love what Avon has done for me. It's given me so much freedom, and money freedom and financial freedom, more so the money freedom. But you know, the thing is, when you have no bills, no credit card debt, no house payment, no car payment, I have nothing but utilities, cell phone, gas in my car. I mean, that's pretty much all the bills we have. And you don't need that much money to live off of anymore. Now, if you don't have like credit card debt and house payments, you really can live off of a whole lot less money and live perfectly happy and have plenty of money to do what you want to do. So anyway, that was my story. You know, it's the holiday season's coming up. We're just heading into it. Holidays, 40% of our entire year's sales are done in the last 3 months of the year for the holidays. If you've ever thought about selling Avon, now is the time. You absolutely should start. It's, you know, you can get started right away. You can sell online, offline, totally up to you. I'm here to help you. So if you're interested, go to my website, sellavonlynn.com. That takes you right to the sign up. Right now, at this time, it's a $30 sign up. You get to pick a free gift. There's 3 different packages you get to choose. They valued from $80 to $107, I think. There's different packages. Those are free. There's no tax, no shipping. It's just $30 out of your pocket. So go check it out, workwithlynn.com, or send me a private message, and I'd be happy to help you get set up. And let's get you going, okay? Because I would love to help you have the kind of life that I have. Trust me, you would love it. And even if you're in a job where you're having to work so many hours, maybe I can help you get out of it someday, right? In the near future. But hey, I want to hear from you. What are you doing? Do you have your own business? Do you, what's your life like in your business? I mean, tell me about you. If you have a story to tell, I would love to hear it. Get down below in the comments and share with me. Anyway, thanks for being here today, and have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.